Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a healthy food swap, so how to swap out regular food that you can buy in the supermarket and make it healthier and more macro friendly. I've seen it quite a lot on YouTube and wanted to make my own version, so we're making chips or fries, chocolate cake and nachos. So looking at homemade chips, we have got only 1 gram of fat in those versus store-bought frozen chips. For the same amount of chips is 15 grams of fat, so that right off the bat is like horrendous difference in macros. So I just use Tesco value chips. It's not anything fancy. These were like 300 grams of chips just cooked in the oven, and then versus 300 grams of homemade chips just using regular potatoes. So I just slice them up into sort of chip form, or fries if you are American and you do not call them chips. Then just slice them up just whatever kind of shape you want, but just as close to fries as possible, and then just season them. So I used a bit of black pepper and chilies and then some paprika as well. And then just bake them in the oven until they're nice and crispy. And for 300 grams of these versus 300 grams of frozen chips, there is a massive difference in macros. Now, I am not someone that thinks that calories are the be all and end all, but I definitely think ingredients and sticking to whole foods and foods which have sort of lower fat content naturally are so much better for you, especially if you're on the health and fitness game. So you can see here the chips kind of look pretty similar. I will say that actually homemade chips taste so much better. The regular chips are kind of bland unless you put sauce and things on them, so the paprika and chili ones I will say tasted so much better. 1 gram of fat versus 15 grams of fat, so it is a huge difference. And I just served these with regular Heinz ketchup and sriracha mayo, and that is that. Really simple, really easy, and like I said, such a big difference in macros and calories, but definitely worth taking the time to just make your own chips versus store-bought ones. So second thing I made was homemade chocolate cake versus Betty Crocker cake. So this one per slice, which is 12th of the cake, is just about 5 grams of fat versus Betty Crocker cake, which per slice had over 16 grams of fat. So I'm not going to be a bore and say I never eat this cake. If it was a birthday or some kind of celebration, then yes, I would opt for the full fat, you know, chocolate cake if you like. And all you have to do to make this vegan is just mix the cake mix with some Diet Coke until it's all mixed together. You don't have to use any eggs, dairy, anything like that. Literally a can of Coke with that cake mix makes the cake vegan, and also, you know, just makes it easier to make as well. So even if you aren't vegan but you just wanted to skimp out on the eggs and the milk and whatnot, then you could just pour in a can of Coke, bake it in the oven for about 35 minutes, and then just top it with the indulgent Betty Crocker fudge icing, which also happens to be accidentally vegan. So mixing this all round just until it's nice and smooth. Divide the cake into 12 slices, and that kind of gives you the macros per slice. But when we're making our own homemade cake, all the information's in the description, but just mixing together almond milk, vinegar and banana. And that is your liquids mixed together, and then once they're mixed together, we're going to mix it in with our dry ingredients. So for dry ingredients, we're just using regular flour, some raw cacao powder, some baking powder, some salt and some coconut sugar or brown sugar, whichever one you have. Mix that all together, and then you want to mix in your wet ingredients as well. So it's really simple, really easy. It's not exactly a difficult thing to make from scratch, and all the ingredients are relatively whole food, or close to it anyway. Compared to Betty Crocker cake, you can see on that box that it has honestly about 50 ingredients, whereas this homemade cake has way less ingredients, and per slice is only about 5 grams of fat versus 16 grams of fat. You know, for just when you have a notion for chocolate cake and don't really want to go all out with the store-bought Betty Crocker, you can just make one from scratch. Obviously still not the healthiest thing in the world, but definitely healthier than the store-bought version. Pop that in the oven and then just make your homemade icing. So some raw cacao powder, some maple syrup, and also coconut oil. And the coconut oil will help it kind of thicken up as it cools down from being melted, and it will start to kind of make it firmer to make it more of like a spreadable icing. Play around with the measurements if it's a bit too runny or not runny enough. Once your cake's out the oven, just top it with your icing. Like I said, all the measurements for these are down below, so if you are looking for the exact recipes, then check them out in the description box. And you just want to top your cake off really with this icing, and oh my god, it is phenomenal. So you can see the cakes look pretty similar. The Betty Crocker one is a bit darker with their icing, but just slicing it up, about a 1/12 of the cake is one serving size, and that is what the macros represent. So taking that off there, you will see by the macros that it's pretty much double everything, double the calories and double the fat just for a slice of chocolate cake. So like I said, obviously still not the super healthiest thing in the world, but if you are craving chocolate cake and want to make something relatively healthier than your store-bought one, then it definitely is a good option. And actually the calories are that different that you can actually only eat about half of the Betty Crocker slice versus what you can eat of the full regular slice. So going in next for our third recipe, we have potato nachos. These come in at half the calories and like a quarter of the fat than regular nachos. So just using regular nachos, then we're just going to go into tortilla chips, pour over some beans, jalapenos, we're going to do some salsa and some vegan cheese as well. So the recipe for the regular nachos and the potato nachos are exactly the same, except we're using potatoes in place of nachos, and we're using half the amount of cheese than we would use, you know, in a kind of regular serving size of nachos. So put it under the grill and then add a second layer. These do serve 2 people, both this one and the potato one, so the macros say per serving because there's 2 servings per recipe. So just again, crisps layered with salsa and beans, jalapenos and vegan cheese, and just pop it into the grill until it's all melted. Now, not gonna lie, I love nachos, I love regular nachos, but I feel like the more you eat of them, because they're so high in fat, your stomach kind of doesn't agree with them that well. So for regular nachos, potato nachos, you want to just slice potatoes nice and thinly, and then just put them in the oven until they are baked, and then just pretty much the same procedure, just layer the potatoes. I added a bit of that low calorie oil spray just to make them really, really crispy. They only took about 20 minutes because they were cut so thin, and we're just going to layer them up the same way. So beans, salsa, jalapenos, and then I think I used about 50 grams of vegan cheese versus like 100 grams of vegan cheese on the other nachos. So you can see that this is actually plenty. It definitely is a much lighter option, but you can eat so many more potatoes from what you can eat of like tortilla crisps, so it definitely is a shout just to replace your crisps with potatoes. And then again, just add your second layer after you've grilled that first layer, and then just pop it back in the grill until everything is nice and melted. So nachos side by side, you can see that these potato ones are so good. They replicate nachos so well, and they are nice and thin and crispy, just like crisps, because we cut them that way and picked them with a tiny bit of no calorie spray. And then side by side, they are pretty much exactly the same meal, except your potato one has half the calories. Therefore we're scooping out half of these nachos, because you could literally only eat half of this plate versus the potato plate. And like I said, this still has 20 grams of fat in it if you're only eating half of this, whereas the potato one still has even less fat with only 9.5 grams for, you know, the serving size. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and let me know if you like this style of video and we can mix it up and do more videos this kind of style. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you really did enjoy it. It was quite a long process of a video, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.